I tend to find as I get older, bands don't pop up and consume a huge part of my life like they did when I was a teenager. You kinda needed bands to consume your life then. You had nothing but time, and that time was taken up with constant emotional highs and lows. I think this is why a lot of people remember their teenage musical idols more significantly than their adult idols. Being swept up in the adult world can leave a lot less time for music. It's a sad fact of life, but if you can keep up with music into adulthood and let it keep a significant place in your life, every now and then something can surprise you. Mastodon was something I never expected to become an obsession, but fuck me, Mastodon rocked my cunt off. Mastodon is a band from Atlanta, Georgia. They formed in the early 2000s and started after all the band members now in Atlanta realized they had an appreciation for the same kind of bands, sludge metal being a defining factor in their sound going forward. They did have some small releases before their debut album, but it's really with Remission where Mastodon had their pretty meteoric rise into critical acclaim. Mastodon came out punching in the most fierce of ways. I really wish I could understand how much of an impact this had on the scene when it released, but Mastodon wasn't on my radar. In fact, I guess metal wouldn't have been either. I started listening to metal when I was around 13 to 14, and Mastodon released this when I was 11. I get the feeling that adults with maybe more refined tastes really could have dug this album in a big way, considering the mainstream metal scene at the time. Being 27 now, around the age the guys were when creating this, it seems oddly relatable. It's as hardcore as some of the bands I was listening to in my teens, but much more sophisticated, I guess. Lyrically, it's beyond almost all of the mainstream metal attempts of the early 2000s. Mastodon would go on to make more cohesive records, concept records for the most part, but Remission isn't some kind of freshman blunder. The lyrics are dark, psychological, and bleak. The musicality is exceptional, and it sonically represents the lyricism incredibly well. Remission is a journey. Let's look into it a bit more. Mastodon benefits from being technical, tonally savvy, catchy, and lyrically vague but intelligent. All of these form a synthesis that is uncommon. Tonally, you know you are in for something special almost immediately. The first riff is indication enough of where we are heading. Starting off a song telling the story of a bull fighting a matador, it's some seriously bloody and brutal writing, both musically and lyrically. The first verse I always find a seriously engaging read. Mastodon seems to be a band that want to take you through worlds, myths, and mysteries, as is indicated by the fan favorite Ol Nessie. I love how easily Mastodon make you feel a part of this world they're creating simply through choice of instrumentation and lyricism. It's some seriously impressive stuff. Mastodon want to guide you through metaphors for life events they are going through and have gone through.
I think the new record, Emperor of Sand, was highly impacted by the things each of us had going on personally in our personal lives with.
This would continue through their career and becomes more cohesively thematic on the next record. I guess what I'm getting at here is Remission is a perfect beginning record. It stands on its own as a classic metal record, but also sets Mastodon up tonally for what would come, which miraculously was even better, says a large majority of the fanbase and critics at least. By the end of Remission, you are less fascinated in the concept of like future albums would have. Less fascinated in a thematic concept, but more interested in hearing every facet of the instrumentation, the technical aspects, the bleak lyricism. What did you miss, you know? Remission being longer than both the next few records serves as a great one to analyze. Remission may just be your Mastodon record if their heaviness is a main priority, and I wouldn't blame you. While it isn't my favorite, we'll be getting to that later, Remission is a classic album. Chronological listening was made for bands like Mastodon.